but not tonight. Every moment, every goal we see. In our hearts it's Chelsea, me and you, we can agree. Oh, take me out and stand with you, privilege you talk. When to tap by taking you. Oh, Chelsea, we stand tall. We stand tall. Everywhere we give our all. Everywhere, yeah. Forever we're true. We must be. Together we rise, just me and you. In nights that you will go home, 3 hours away, so need of my own. It will look so deep in river. Whoa, whoa. In the blue, our spirits fly. With every cheer, we touch the sky. In this love, we find our way. Chelsea forever, day by day. Whoa, Chelsea, Chelsea stands tall. Cover up with the hand. We give our all. Chelsea, forever we're true. Together we rise, just me and you. Hey, go wake up, baby. It's a Chelsea day. So blue, baby, that's cheering pain. Talking dreams while the sky stays bright. Rest your head, but not tonight. Every moment, every goal we see. In our hearts it's Chelsea, me and you, we can agree. Oh, take me out and stand with you, privilege you talk. When to tap by taking you. Oh, Chelsea, we stand tall. We stand tall. Everywhere we give our all. Everywhere, yeah. Forever we're true. We must be. Together we rise, just me and you. In nights that you will go home, 3 hours away, so need of my own. It will look so deep in river. Whoa, whoa. In the blue, our spirits fly. With every cheer, we touch the sky.
Yes, good people. I hope you can all hear me. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another news roundup on Chelsea Perspective. I do hope you're all doing well. I think we'll find the perfect timing for our daily live streams. It will be around this time, maybe not the exact time we're starting right now, because there was a game on the Fulham versus Bournemouth game was the reason why we didn't start earlier. Or you could argue 30 minutes earlier or even 1 hour. We should have started. We could have started 1 hour earlier, but because of the game, we just couldn't. But despite the way, I appreciate you all finding the time to join me this evening. We have a few items lined up to talk about. Talk about Gyokeres. We'll talk about Delap. We'll talk about numbers with regards to our performances and some other items. And if we don't have enough, we'll go news hunting as usual. But please keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. I do hope you're all doing well. It's been an interesting weekend for Chelsea. Interesting period for Chelsea fans. Yeah, given where we're at in the table and what's been going on. But I think I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's get on with the conversation. I will address humor ID crisis here in the chat section with his contribution. A mark of respect for somebody who's been become an OG here on Chelsea Perspective. Maresca blamed the fans for the result. I think that's, for me, misinterpreted because he's hated already. The slightest measure in miscommunication can explode to something unwarranted, in my opinion. It depends on how you want to see it. And but beyond that, let's go to the next item, and that, I think that's where you said something that's of interest to me that I want to talk about. Really, this year reads. We were 2-0 down to a relegation side in just 30 minutes, and he expected us to rally. If this is some semi-final or final, yeah, no problem. But let me ask you: it doesn't have to be a final. What's the purpose of the fan? What papers do the fans serve? Yeah, it's to support. Come rain, come thunder, whatever, however you want to phrase it, in every situation, the fan should be the 12th man. You're there to provide support, irrespective of the situation. That's my opinion anyway. You're entitled to see it the way you see it. I get it. But if you understand football, we're actually let's say, yeah, I'm shameless when it comes to speaking the truth in most cases. Sometimes copium, but this time I think I'm trying to be as objective as I can here. Let's be honest. We were dominating them until that defensive error, yeah, led to us conceding the first goal. And goals do make a difference in football matches. We were dominating them. They had no sniff at our end, sniff of at our goal until that error. My point is this: what is the purpose of the fans? What papers do they serve to the players? To support them. Yeah, in situations like that is where you need the fans the most. The fans are called the 12th man for a reason, in my opinion. I know people see it differently. Or you could, let me just rephrase that. As football fans, we all see things from different perspectives, or maybe different lenses. But I'd say I see nothing wrong in him saying again saying he blamed the fan. I think that's out of context, in my opinion. Maybe I need to listen to that again. And remember, language is an issue here. English isn't his first language. We know that. And do I like listening to him speak? No, because there's always, whenever he speaks, there's always a room for misinterpretation of whatever he's saying. And he's come out on some occasions to try to correct what he said, and ended up, you could say, making things worse. But that's, by the way, my point is, irrespective of whether he was blaming the fans or not, given the comment we're looking at on the screen here, in my opinion, yeah, the fans are there to support the team, irrespective of how badly they're playing or not, or whether we're losing or winning. But we weren't actually playing badly. We started losing down to inexperienced defending, or you can say poor defending, in my opinion. The first goal, to be more specific, Levi Coward defended like a primary school kid. The golden rule of being a defender is you don't leave a situation for the next man to handle. Once you're the first to see the situation, handle it. You don't leave it for the man behind or for the next player to handle it. You run the risks of the situation not even getting to that player you're leaving it for before things escalate, which was what happened on the day. There wasn't actually good enough pace on the ball to say that Levi Coward couldn't reach it. He saw it. He could have done something, cleared it behind the goalpost, or even if he wanted, he could actually. He had this. I think the pace on the ball, and plus where he was at the time, I think he could have. He could have actually comfortably stuck to the ball and turn around and do something about it. But I'd rather him clear it to a corner kick. But he didn't do that, and he was waiting for Robert Sanchez to do something about it, which was very poor. To me, I don't think it'd be okay to say, yeah, we played well but lost. No, but we dominated the game before they scored that goal, and yeah, the best side won, irrespective of who played better or irrespective of what the numbers tell us. 34 shots, only 9 on target. I don't see any justifiable reason to say the manager was the reason why we completed 30, was it 34 shots, got only 9 on target, had 4 big chances and missed all of them. I don't think it makes sense to blame the manager, in my opinion. But we move on. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I'm going to move to the presentation window because we have some news items to address. And once we're done addressing the news items, we can now go news hunting if we don't have anything. And please, I don't have the energy to keep deviating from the topic. I'm a human being, especially when we're all suffering from the situation at our club. Most of us are in a bad mental place, but I've learned to deal with it as a content creator. Yeah, when I wasn't, before I become a content creator, what I usually do in such situation is delete all sporting apps in my devices, so I don't get any notification with anything that has to do with Chelsea. My coping at the time, but I've gotten used to it. Now, what I do in such situations is to try to figure out what's going on, why it's happening, and suggest solutions. And I'm happy that content creation has led to me learning how to effectively deal with situation that could have in the past affected my mental well-being. But yeah, some people disconnect like I used to do when I was still when I wasn't a content creator. But that's, by the way, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Sincerely do appreciate you all finding the time to join the show this particular evening. For me, give me 1 second here. Let's go, people. Let's go. What else do we have here? Let's see. I'm going to catch up with what I have, but please keep the topics aligned. Otherwise, I will assume you're having a good conversation with a community member, which you're entitled to. The vote! Nice to see you, my brother. Hope you're doing well. The fans are acting bad. That's another way to see it. It depends on who you ask. But here's something I want to say quickly here. What you see, the anger, the dissent, what's one more language that I'm looking for? The hostility directed at Maresca, for me, was all misplaced. I think the intent of the fans, again, it's that everything I've mentioned, they're all driven by the hatred for the current Chelsea owners. But because they've tried something, they've showed anger, dissent, hostility towards the owners, and it hasn't moved. And none of those things moved a needle. And the owners, they don't care. And they've seen the owners, they can't get them to change what they want to do. And they've stated clearly that, yeah, they see progress, irrespective of how you see it, from where you see it. Now, subconsciously or indirectly, you could say before they know it, the whole thing, they're dumping the whole thing on Enzo Maresca, which is wrong. And I've always told people Enzo Maresca is the least of our problems. And I'm happy that there's nothing that's happening right now at the club that I didn't see coming, that I don't expect. But I'm not saying that's the end of my club. The only thing I want to remind people is that the road taking will eventually lead to success, but it needs patience. The road taking needs patience. Do I think Chelsea fans have that? I don't think so. And that's because we've been conditioned to only accept instant success. And I've always told people, Ty is my witness, that I'm concerned about the club's immediate future. But for the long-term future, there's hope. The plan in place will eventually lead to sustained success. But we could have done it differently to still ensure that we're doing well right now and not wait for the future. Because without the now is a good foundation for the future. It will if now isn't a good foundation for the future, it will eventually lead to some issues in the long term. But that's a small opinion anyway. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. It likes, but I'm quite sure we can do a lot better than that. I saw a video of them booing like brats. Unfortunately, I'm one of those that don't like that, irrespective of the situation. And it wasn't like we were poor. The only thing, 2 things we didn't do on the day was take our chances. Under a few minutes into the game, Nicholas Jackson hit woodwork. Enzo Fernandez had the chance. I think Cole Palmer also had an opportunity. But in my opinion, the way I did see it at the time was the fact that we have inexperienced players who knew that we had to win to get back into top four. And for inexperienced players, that's that's enough a pressure to lead to them not to be at their best and play with naivety. I'm not sure what. No, that's not the correct language. Play with a bit of what's the language I'm looking for? Uh, you can say succumb to the pressure and not perform as they should. But that's just my opinion. Let's see. Are you sure, or he's just testing our reaction? No, I don't think so, man. Come on. I know you're a very smart guy. But here's the thing. There are some situations when you find yourself in certain situations, nothing you do will be accepted as the correct thing, and most of the things that you do will be judged unfairly, driven by the perception or the expectation that you will never be right, and because you're or the belief that you're wrong, and there's nothing you can say that you don't do any right in the eyes of those that see you that way. If you get my point there. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. I think we played well and we shouldn't complain. Here's the thing, unfortunately, the best side won, irrespective of what the numbers tell us. That's just the truth. The best side won. I get it. We had no business losing that game. We were the better side by far. Pardon the language once again, but the best side won. They had how many? They took their chances, but the fact that we produced 34 shots, only 9 on target, and then created 4 big chances, missed all of them. I don't think it makes sense to blame the manager, but that's just my opinion. And Keishan, my New York bro, is in the house. Nice to see you, Keishan. I do hope you're doing well, and I appreciate you finding the time to join. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Very soon we'll get to discuss and the news items we have lined up and knock them off as soon as possible and call it a day. But Star Slayer, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Jabulani, hi Kachila, and the Blues family. Chelsea must sign both Delap and Gyokeres plus Kunha of Wolves. I don't think we can do that. Gone are the days we just can't spend, even if we have it. It's not going to happen. Let's see. The fans have every right to protest. Yeah, I'm not arguing against that. But in my opinion, I don't think it's okay. What is the purpose of the fans? Yeah, the purpose is to support the team. And support means your support is needed the most when the team is struggling. And the baffling thing is that it wasn't like we were playing badly before we considered that goal. We were dominating them. The only thing we didn't do during that a period of domination was that we didn't take our chances. But that's a small opinion. You're entitled to yours. And Rabataha, once again, I love that name. You can argue the rhymes, maybe the HA ending both of us and last name is something I like because I'm into music. I like such thing. The sound is similar, not HA ends the other one and AH ends the other one, but they sound alike. Okay, Maresca is not good enough, and Chelsea will never make it anywhere with Maresca. Can you elaborate? Let me give you a chance to do that. Why Maresca is the reason why where we are sixth in the table, and why Maresca was the reason why we lost. We drew that game. It was a draw that you could say felt like a loss. Because we did enough to win that game, in my opinion. It wasn't for lack of effort. It was something else. Is there a panel tonight? Maybe because we have not been streaming consistently at a particular time. So even the panelists are confused. Maybe I've sent the link. Chelsea must release Broya, Chewa, Stalin, Felix, Chukwemeka. All those names are already on the chopping blocks, in my opinion. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. We have, just saying hello tonight, but so let's switch to the presentation window so we can address the news items we have lined up. And after that, if we have time, we'll go news hunting to see if anything new has emerged since the show started. We have a total of 31 people following the show. Only 8 on YouTube, the rest on X. If you're following the show on X, we appreciate you. Please take a second, drop a like on the video for us, and follow our X account to help us reach 5,000 followers on X as soon as possible. And if you don't mind, join us on YouTube. We'd really appreciate that. Let's see. What else do we have here? This talks about Chelsea. This reads that Chelsea have held new direct contact with the entourage of Viktor Gyökeres to confirm they are still considering the Sporting CP as a striker target for the summer. This just doesn't make sense to me. I don't like this such reports, but what do I know? We just have to address it and try to make sense of it. Listen, this guy has no shortage of interested clubs. There are a lot of clubs interested in signing him, and this report just doesn't make sense. That we've held talks with his camp just to let them know we are considering them. It's simple. To them, we're not going to be a priority. They'd be paying more attention to clubs who really want him, but the only issue is that are they able to get them, or are they able to meet Sporting CP's demands and the players which demands and all that. So this report for me is absolute nonsense. But my opinion is this: I think that's the striker we should be looking to sign. He's an excellent finisher. He can be physical. And he's not just stereotypical number 9. He can drop the participate in the play, and in majority of the times put away chances that come his way. I'd rather him than Osimhen, and I'm not saying he's a better player than Osimhen. I think we've talked about that 1,000 times. That there are other reasons I've explained to people that I don't think we should go for Victor Osimhen. Listen, irrespective of what you think about Nicholas Jackson, he's not going anywhere. Whether you like it or not, I think he stays, but he needs help. And I think we should start using him as a second striker or even on the flanks. He'd be more productive for us than him being the number 1 that we put our hopes on to help us achieve our goals. But that's, by the way, the reason I say we don't want. I don't want us to sign Victor Osimhen is this: is that if we sign him, then sell one of our African strikers. Nicholas Jackson maybe, or start playing Nicholas Jackson on the flanks, and then sign another striker that's not of African descent. Why? Victor Osimhen is a top African striker. He's a top striker and number 1 on the team sheet for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And you could say the same thing. I don't know whether Nicholas Jackson, whether he's gotten to that level just yet, but at least every time AFCON comes around, he has to travel. So if we have 2 strikers, 2 top African strikers, 2 of which we rely on to help us win games or help us win trophies or achieve our goals, and then every time AFCON comes around, both will leave. And we don't have the luxury to still meet 2 of our best players and still do well. And I've heard that debate with some of the panelists here who argue that it's not going to be for a while. That I should remember when we had the likes of Didier Drogba, Solomon Kalou, John Mikel Obi, all the names of Michael Essien with Chelsea, even after losing, even when we lose them to AFCON, we still do well. But our current team is not as good as a team as a team we had at the time. We had the luxury to still lose even more players and still be winning games left, right, and center. But now, look at what the absence of Nicholas Jackson. He's not even you could say he's not even a fine finisher. But in his absence, we started struggling. Yeah, Cole Palmer misses a single game. We will be losing our SHIT, losing games left and right. So think about it. If we have 2 African strikers, whom 2 of which, whenever AFCON comes around, they have to travel to go represent their countries, I don't think it makes sense. And I don't think the club will risk that. Would I like to have both at the club? Yes. But you don't forget that, AFCON, whenever it comes around, both will leave to go represent their country and we will suffer. We're not good enough yet to say, in their absence, we'll still be all right. Except if we sign Osimhen and then sign another traditional number 9 that isn't of African descent, then fine. If you get my you could say my explanation of why that's just one. of the reasons I think we should sign Osimhen. The other one being fans' expectation. Yeah, we know him, and the reason Chelsea fans do know him even from his time in the French league, Italian league, and now in Turkey, ripping up trees. Even his time in the Belgium league on loan, I think he scored 20 goals at the time. The expectation is that he comes in and scores at least 20 plus goals per season. And the fact that the manager's approach uh, could end up becoming a factor that could lead to Osimhen not even reaching 10 goals, because the manager prefers a fluid approach where we don't channel all our goal scoring chances through a single individual once we get to the final third. Yeah, fans don't care about that. What they care is that, yeah, we paid that much money for you, and we've always known you to average at least 20 plus goals per season, and you're here, you just scored 7, 10. Whether we win the league or not, the fans don't care. The moment we start struggling, they will start blaming him for it. So there are multitude, there are other reasons. I don't want to get into that, but that's, by the way, I'd rather we sign Gyokeres, and then we have one African player, striker, and then a European striker. Shoot one of them. If the African player leaves for AFCON, we still have one, and we still have a player such as the up and coming, what's his name, the Spanish kid in Mark Gui to be there. You could say as get a chance to play even more in the absence of the African striker. If you get my point, I don't know if I did a good job in explaining why that is an issue for me. Kishan, nice to see you, my New York bro. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show this particular evening. And Rabataha, if you're watching, I'm not sure why the machine that is policing the chat section deleted your message. Apologies, it happens. I haven't found the time to reprogram it to be a bit lenient, because I don't think you've done anything wrong. Did you at any time use all caps, or maybe the speed at which the speed at which you are the speed at which you're typing may well be the issue, but apologies. Yes, let's see. Okay, but nice to see you. Let's see what else we have here. Hi to you too in Blues family. Chelsea must sign in both. I don't think it's possible. I don't think so. We don't need Kumna. Gyokeres maybe definitely. I think we need. Do I think we'd get him? I don't know. The reports are there. Nothing makes sense. This one on the screen that we've already addressed just doesn't make sense. It shows a Sporting CP that, yeah, he's not a priority for us, since we're still considering, we're not serious about signing him. Well, or he's one of our he's the on you say one of the strikers that we're considering. So to them, their priority will be to deal with clubs who really want the player, as I've explained before, or maybe chances are we're behind the scenes, we've done some groundwork and definitely want him to join us, because yeah, we've signed how many players there right now? I think we signed, what's his name, was it the Sugo or who, the defensive midfielder was signed from Sporting CP. So maybe when we were there shopping, we did start the groundwork to get the deal to sign Viktor Gyökeres over the line. But that's just my opinion anyway. But in all honesty, I haven't seen anything that's convinced me that we're serious about signing him. Yeah, the fans have every right to protest. Yeah, but if you say Maresca is not good enough, that's your opinion. I think it's good enough, and I've always told people Maresca is the least of our problems. If anything, that game against Ipswich Town, it was it did highlight areas that we need to prioritize in the summer transfer window. We need to sign good defenders. We don't have good enough defenders. We have defenders with good potentials that will in the future become better defenders. How will they get there? By playing. And if we decide we're going to keep them, without them playing, they're not going to get there. If we decide we want to keep them, and that they're the ones we need to keep playing mature, then yeah, we need to be patient with them. But if we need to fix our issues and do better next season, we need to sign at least one good defender that can read the game well, experienced enough that if Tosin isn't on the pitch, he'd be there to lead. Tosin actually doesn't have to start. Do I think by next season that Levi Colwill will be mature enough to be that guy that if he's on the pitch for us, with the confidence that we won't have defensive issues? No, because his biggest problem is his inability to read games properly, to read opposition movement properly. He's an excellent passer of the ball. He has the potential, but he doesn't read the game very well. That has always been his biggest issue. He's improved the other aspect of his game, which I talked about last season. Last season he wasn't able to shield the ball properly, but he's improved that aspect of his game. But still, he doesn't read the game very well. And I think Badiashile actually reads the game better than him, in my opinion. So we need to sign a defender. We need to sign a number 9. In the midfield area, I don't think we don't have issues actually. Maybe we need to sign a traditional 10. Yeah, we need that. A 10, a striker, and then at least one experienced defender. That defender doesn't have to be 40, 50, because often fans always use age and experience interchangeably. The older you are, the more belief that you're experienced enough to get the job done. But remember, there are younger players that aren't up to 25 but have garnered enough experience through the amount of games they've played. If that makes sense. Let's see. The vibe is saying, is there a panel? Okay, I think I've addressed that one too. I had to go back a bit to go say hello to Kishan there. Let's see, anything else? Shay, Wendy, nice to see you. Maresca press conference, very annoying. I stopped listening to him. And in most cases, I think because why is Nightbot deleting everybody's message? Oh, you use all caps there. Information supreme. Apologies for that. I don't know. You can say I'm not that savvy with the software web application to find a way to get it to be lenient. So information supreme. Apologies for that. Big up to you too. Yeah, very annoying indeed. But it depends on what you make of whatever he says. I've stopped listening to him. I believe he's the man for the job. And as I've always told people, he's the least of our problem. Our biggest issue is squad building. The sporting directors, they've messed it up real big. And that's just my opinion. The manager, for me, even though shamelessly, I'd still say it, I've seen progress in terms of playing with balance, in terms of playing with maturity, but that's not good enough. We have to win games. And I don't see, and I'm going to go back to saying it just doesn't make sense to dump the whole blame on the manager after a game that we finished with 34 shots, 9 shots on target. Only 9 of those 34 shots on target, created 4 big chances and missed all of them. It just doesn't make sense to say the manager was the problem. And it doesn't also make sense to say the setup was the problem. No, it wasn't. The setup was never the issue. The setup was the reason why we were able to create the amount of chances we created. In all honesty, it just doesn't make sense. And another argument that I don't understand is people arguing that he's one-dimensional. No, he's not. There are known basics to the manager's approach, like keeping the ball and having one player pop up every time we have the ball, completing the triangles and helping us gain a numerical advantage over the opposition. Those are the basics. There are other ways that we apply ourselves during games that shows no, he's not one-dimensional. But unfortunately, because we've not been performing, we've not been at our best, it's easy to go with that narrative that he's one-dimensional. He's not. We're talking about a manager that you could argue literally changes his approach based on opposition every game. Yeah, it's simple. If your focus is on the surface level of his application, then it's easy to believe that he's one-dimensional because the basics remain the same. The basics of keeping the ball, stopping the opposition of the ball, which is his way of controlling the game, and one player inverting, completing triangles, helping us get numerical advantage. I'm sounding like a broken record trying to explain. Those are the only things that are constant in his approach. That are all the things that actually, if you don't pay attention in certain games, it would take, again, you'd have to go pay attention to the average positioning of the players to realize what structure we use, in my opinion. But I want to move on from that. But thank you again. English isn't his first language, so sometimes probably he says things that he didn't mean to say. He says something that comes across as something else when he meant to say it's another thing. But that's, by the way. Just get the job done. I don't give shit about what he says, and that's me. I'd rather over who over who? Kishan, I'm listening. And by the way, guys, Kishan have a YouTube channel where he discusses wrestling. And I haven't watched wrestling for like 1,000 years. I'm not saying I'm a vampire, but you get the gist. I think I'm gonna start watching wrestling because Kishan is a brother, and I'd like to support him, and maybe I'll start enjoying wrestling again. But my kids love wrestling, but animated version of it because I'm concerned. Even at that, my wife isn't happy that they watch it because the dangerous stuff they do and all that. But that's, by the way, go check out Keishan's YouTube channel. Subscribe. A good conversation the other day. I think you should go check it out. Keishan, please share the link to your YouTube channel because I haven't created a Nightbot command for you. Let's see. I have no confidence in our directors to complete a deal for Gyökeres. In terms of completing a deal, I have to give them that. We are pretty good at completing deals. But here's the thing: there was something I saw, a particular report I saw today that read something to the effect of us spending more money, more agent fees than any other club. You could argue that's the way we get agents to help us convince their players to join us. One example being, how were we able to convince Sporting CP to sell Dario Esugo to us when Manchester United were also interested in signing him, and Manchester United, our fans actually at the time were confident that he's joining them because they have Ruben Amorim as their manager. How were we able to get the deal done? By paying, or you could say making the agents happier. It's really that simple. If you get my opinion. So getting deals done. That's one of their strongest stuff. That's what you can say. They are very capable in that aspect. But how do they do it? My theory is that they pay agents more money, given the fact that that report that I told you about, states did state that we've spent more money agent fee than any other club. But that's, by the way, the issue is getting the right players in, getting the right profile of players in, getting the players we want. I don't think is the issue, but getting the right players we want. We've done well in the midfield area. Defensive area, we have a lot of issues. We do have a lot of issues. The only defender I trust there, honestly, is Tosin, followed by Chaloba, irrespective of what you think of him. And then on let's say the fullbacks, I trust them. But the CBs, I have serious issues, trust issues with them. And I don't want to even I don't want to even consider, what's his name? I don't want to even consider Fofana as one of the CVs we have at the club. It just doesn't make sense. Why would I do that? When he's not even a part-time player, he's gone beyond being a part-time player to being to working from home, in my opinion. I know he's a good player, and I will never forget how we for days debated whether we should pay that much money for him and sign him. I remember Bobby, OG here, one of our senior panelists here, arguing that he's still very young. He can overcome that. I think it was my friend and bro, Mikhail, who during that particular debate did share, I think it was a screenshot of his injuries at the time. They were all chained. One that we didn't blame him for, and where that wasn't an issue for us, was that broken bone one he had when he was still at Leicester City. But even before he joined Leicester City, he had series of injuries, all chained, about 2-3 times per season, and the amount of minutes he missed was a concern for us during that conversation. But a lot of people just wanted us to get the deal over the line, and we paid north of £70 million for Wesley Fofana, and look how many games he's played for us. But that's by the way. We played good. It's a relegated Ipswich, for God's sake. Here's the thing, Rabba. My point is, shamelessly, it just doesn't make sense to say we were the better side. No. In football, it's a senseless argument to argue the better side lost. As good as we were on the day, they won. The better side won. And here's my point. My point is, the fans are called the 12th man for a reason. The fans, what are they to do to support the team, irrespective of how badly they're playing? Watch Real Madrid. Watch that their home game. Pay attention to their home game against Arsenal. What the fans would do. The fans can make a difference. The fans can be the difference between a team losing or winning a game, and that is just my opinion. And I'm not just saying it for the sake of it. It's not easy to buy a ticket and go to the stadium and your team starts playing badly. There are good reasons. There are solid reasons why the team isn't performing at the level we expect them to be performing. And I'm happy that I'm not seeing anything. I haven't seen anything that again that I say I didn't expect to happen. And I'll give you one example. When people were screaming when the title race were winning the league, I was one of those telling people, yeah, mathematically we're in it. But given where we were at the time, from the perspective of our project, that we're not in it. And I think it was Bobby that said we wait until I think he said something after April, June, July, or he mentioned not June, July. What month did he mention? If we're still there, then he'd agree that we're in the title race. So what I'm trying to say is this: what is the purpose of fans? To support the team. Support is needed the most when your team is struggling. Do I like the what I read online about what's his name, Robert Sanchez, saying that the reason why he made a mistake was that the fans were booing him? I don't like that aspect. He's a professional. Deal with it. If you get my point. So I think the fans could be the difference between a team getting relegated or a team winning a game or losing a game. Whether you are happy or not, support your team, then voice your opinion on what's going on. We have to keep our level. We will never clap for a loser. We lost our culture of winning. OC is the best. So the fans should only clap when the team is winning. Yeah, the most important job of the fans is to support the team. And I'm going to go back to telling you, Robert Sanchez, if he really said that, then he shouldn't be playing for Chelsea. Fans have every right to show that they're not happy. But I'm just letting you know, your team, we need the support, irrespective of whether you think of the Maresca or how you see Maresca, the sporting directors and the owners. Nothing can change until the transfer window opens. So if you go to the stadium to boo the team, you're making the situation worse. If you get my point. The fans has every right to be angry, because whatever happens to Chelsea, it affects the life of most people. Today, I have one of my best friends in the community. He's gone beyond a friend to being a brother. He left the Panelists group with a message. Let me read the message. Just to show you these things, the team's performance affects the fans, even those that they're not able to afford a kit. That's the truth. but our job is to support the team, irrespective of how you see it. He says here, Coach, I'm going to take a mental health break. Having too much trouble controlling the troll in me. Blue coat wins. I am out. That's just to show you how mentally the situation is affecting him. But still, I had a private conversation with him because that's him. It, I know him very well to know that yeah, he's really pained about the situation. It was the conversation. If you search, keep the blue flag flying high, up the Chelsea. Even when he was the most pissed, he still ended with keep the blue flag flying high, up the chest. Coach, keep doing what you're doing, because the job of the fans is to support the team, and your support is needed the most when the team is 2-0 down. That's just my opinion. I'm not condemning your opinion. If you get my opinion, I think Osimhen, in my opinion, I'm going to say something I've already said. Before Osimhen considers Chelsea, it be if the Saudis aren't interested. If the Saudis are still interested, Osimhen will end up in Saudi Arabia. And I've told you guys before, I never believed for 1 second that Benin brother is really is really interested in joining Chelsea. Maresca is not building the team spirit by his untidy and discouraging language to the players and about the ambition of a Chelsea FC leader. Here's the thing: Maresca is it'd be correct to say he's inexperienced, but he's experienced enough, and he can only get better. But for me, I haven't seen anything that suggests that he's the reason why we're sixth in the table. No, if anything, I've seen some progress. Unfortunately, bad results doesn't mean that you're not making progress. In real life, bad result could be the reason why you learn how to become better in the next adventure in your life. If that makes sense, bad results present an opportunity for you to learn where you've made mistakes and improve. And I can sit down and debate with your favorite content creator that yeah, irrespective of where we are in the table, we've made huge progress. We've started to play with much better maturity. We've learned how to control games better, and we've learned actually to slug it out if need be, to defend, and you can say finish the game by winning by just 1-0. But we get that's an argument for another day. But Maresca, yeah, I don't like listening to him. I don't think he's a good speaker, in my opinion, or maybe language is the issue. Remember, English isn't his first language. We've been struggling with Jackson, to be fair. How many games without a goal? Unfortunately. I like this one really. From Ravataha. I love that name. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna scroll to the very bottom and now I'll try to get your subsequent contributions in the chat. Apologies, I'm gonna miss a lot. AB, big up to you. And Charles, big up to you. Much love to all of you. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. We have a total of 55 people following the show, 16 on YouTube, the rest on X. We can do a lot better, and the show will now be constant during this hour, except if there's a game. We could have started earlier than usual. We wanted to start earlier than we did today, but because there was a game on, we didn't start. So around 3:30 CST, Central Standard Time, every day, we can maintain consistency there. Was this 75 million? Yeah, something close to that, but it was north of 70 million. Gyokeres will cook well for us, as he will team up with Estevao and Palmer, Casado, of feeding him the killer passes. I think we'll be much better last season, but I want us to finish strongly this season. Good night, coach. Just dropping a like and going big. Much love to you, my bro. You know I love you so much, brother. God bless you and thank you for dropping the like. Someone said we played good. Unfortunately, that's shamelessness. Did we play well? Let me just phrase it. The more accurate way to phrase it. We didn't draw that game for lack of effort. It was just poor defending. And the truth remains, in all honesty, had we not considered those two reckless goals and won by the two goals we scored with, a lot of people we will not be talking about we'll not be talking about Maresca out to still be happy how we won. And Sancho's goal will be the most talked about goal for the week by Chelsea fans. But unfortunately, the average football fan understands three languages: win, lose, draw. And there, whatever they say about the game will be driven by either by one of those three con- factors that I've mentioned, if you get my point. Yeah, let's see. Big up to you too, Tamida. Nice to see you, Cook Badu. How are you, my brother? The fans will support the team unconditionally if we see effort. Why are you confusing me? Why are you seriously confusing me? Information supreme. What is this? The fans will support the team unconditionally if you see effort. No, you support your team unconditionally, then find a way to show what you're not happy about. But unfortunately, you cannot control that. Football fans will always be football fans, and it's really that simple. No, I love you, bro. Jokes aside, Gyökeres doesn't have the area of threat we need. That's a point. But if we're gonna sign Viktor Simons, we better sign another traditional number nine. I don't want us to sign him and then have him near him and Nicholas Jackson as our number nines. Then when they go to AFCON, that's it for us. We have to send the message. If coach and owners don't feel it, I think right now people have tried to send a message to the owners, and when they learned that their efforts didn't move a needle, they transferred the anger, the hatred on the manager. Yeah, yeah. I think the what's the language I'm looking for? Not the hatred or the anger directed at Maresca. For me, definitely misplaced, because yeah, we can't reach the owners, we can't get them to change the model. They've come out and told us, yeah, they're seeing progress, we can change that. Nobody is scoring goals now. Let's see what else we have here. Big up to you too, Eddie Love for Blue, my brother. Always nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well, and I appreciate you finding the time to join the show this particular evening. 59 likes, only 19 of those on YouTube, the rest on X. I appreciate you all. Much love to you all. Bobby, big up to you. The first report we have on the screen, and I appreciate you finding the time to join, talks about, I think this report for me is absolute nonsense in my opinion. Chelsea have held new direct contact with the entourage of Viktor Gyökeres to confirm they are still considering the Sporting CPAs as a striker target for the summer. It just doesn't make sense. And what I said before was that Sporting would just say Chelsea aren't serious and will prioritize discussions with clubs that really want to sign him and not just considering him. Maresca is the cause of all this. His mentality is not of Chelsea standard. I think I see it differently, but that's a debate I'll leave for us for another day. When he was telling us that no, we're not in the title race, probably just his belief at the time was just he was toning down you could say trying to dial down the pressure on the players. Maybe that was his intention and it backfired. We don't know what he was telling the players in the dressing room. But Madueke, I watched that video where he said title race. What does that mean? Something to that effect. He was being sarcastic. I know in the dressing room, they really want to win the title. Because, yeah, we were where we were at the time. And then it didn't happen. But I didn't believe for 1 second that we're in the title race. So, Bobby, what do you make of this particular report about Viktor Gyökeres? It doesn't make sense to me.
I was listening to all the things you were saying.
I'll be back in a few seconds. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Crystal clear. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was listening to all the things you were saying, and the Gyokeres story. Well, I think the summer will tell who to looking at, because we definitely have to look at the striker. Chelsea's issue is what I would call a marginal personnel one. It's not really too much about Maresca, although he can do better. But it's more that we are lacking certain individuals to help execute certain functions that will, one, stop the team from this now incessant performances or repetition of missing chances. That has to stop. We miss far too many chances. And two, the clumsiness in the defensive line, and of course the goalkeeping line. Those are the three main areas that Chelsea need to address. The wingers, well, there are not enough of them, to be honest. We need more strength in depth in that area. Are you there, Coach?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I
You've
had to go take
okay.
care of something.
One thing that I think is very important that we have to point out is, look, the fan base. I think the fan base are part of our problem. I really do. The days where people used to support Chelsea as opposed to follow Chelsea seem to be somewhat, and I'm hoping not, but seem to be quite, a bit of a distant memory. We have supporters, definitely, we have supporters in abundance, but I think COVID injected a series of Chelsea followers, people that just follow Chelsea, and the competition to get likes and clicks led to this culture of content creators looking to sensationalize Chelsea with nothing but negative and bad news. And so we have these people that have made it almost a stock in trade to attack the ownership or to come out with negative transfer stories about Chelsea's best players, or just anything that they can use to either create or add to the instability or to any issues in and around the club. They are looking for the issues that they can exacerbate around the club, and that's where we find ourselves now. We've mentioned about the supporting, more or less the home support at the stadium, which isn't in, well, when you look at modern times, it's not that bad, but it should and could be better. I think a new stadium would help.
Because Bobby, if you don't mind quickly, I wanted to also talk about how this fan support can be the difference between a team winning a trophy, losing a game, or drawing a game.
Yeah, I mean, this is where, in your last stream or last two streams, I spoke about the ultra culture that we have had a gap in because of the clampdown on bad behavior in stadiums. And I'm not saying
Mhm.
that's wrong. It is right to do that. But unfortunately, you see, the ultra culture, for want of a better word, that we had, the Chelsea hardcore, a lot of them were part of that bad behavior. And
Mhm.
many were banished from the club. Some got life banishments, and some sadly were even imprisoned for their behavior. So that took away that ultra style thing that could have been transmitted and would have evolved into a choreographed support system. What you have in the yellow wall at Dortmund and a lot of these clubs like in Italy and so on, and what we saw in Legia Warsaw was the ultras choreographing support. And that choreographed support is what keeps singing and screaming for the club when things are down. Now, I'll tell you something. When I was a kid, I'm talking a really young kid, I've been a Chelsea member for decades, I've got to say. When I was a kid, I first joined, gosh, I must have been about, oh, I would say about 10 years old. And in those days, Chelsea club members used to get letters, and in the letters they would give you song sheets to rehearse of all the songs that the clubs would sing. In fact, people were invited to write up their own songs and send it in, and the membership group will then select a few songs that will be sung in the terraces as it was in those days. And those are the days where our fan base had fluctuated and at one point diminished a lot. Well, at least stadium goers because of the poor performances of the team. So when you had in the shed those fans that will sing those songs, they were coordinated, they were organized, they would cheer the club, and they would be the ones to G up the fans, even when things were bad or even when we were losing, which at one point in those days was quite often. At
Mhm.
one point, you know, so you still had to keep singing, and so much more if that had been passed down in and if that had evolved, you would have had a better situation than we have now. Another thing that has dampened the home support, because the away fans, there's absolutely nothing wrong there. They sing forever. They sometimes, in their small numbers, outsing the away home fans. But one thing that has dampened football, not just at Chelsea, but all over England in terms of the top teams, is seating, the seating arrangement, and indeed all the top teams had been hit by the dampening down of the sort of ultra bass and the push to make football supporting more family orientated. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with any of those things. There's nothing wrong with it. Football fans, I mean, football supporters in the club should all, in a stadium, should all be able to come in, everybody from every walk of life, to be able to come in there, feel safe, and support the club for sure. But the discouragement of the culture that made young men come and band together should not be the case. After all, you know, in this sport, which is the men's side of it, it is the men's game that we're talking about. And you have to still encourage those young men to come in, albeit not to look for fights as they were in the past, but to come in to be intentional about supporting the club. That's the area I want to see the new ownership, if possible, with the football. There's the fan forum and all these things that they've organized. That's what I want to see them now start trying to promote. There's too much talk of all these political things. Whatever your persuasion is about these matters, I don't think they're football matters. I would rather see the football forums talking about supporting the club, bringing in those that will organize a proper coerced way of supporting the club rather than wasting times with wearing different colors on your armband on your arms every now and then to celebrate things that have nothing to do with football but people's behavior in the privacy of their bedroom. You know, all these weird things, you know. And now racism, the stop racism campaigns, that's fine because that shouldn't be existing anyway, certainly not in this day and age. But the focus on the club should be about football, about the fans. Yes, stop racism. Yes, stop any kind of offensive homophobic language. Yes, I accept that because, you know, we're in a society that embraces all sorts of things. Yes, definitely anti Semitism should be stamped out so people can feel comfortable coming to the stadium. But you must, and I underline, you must encourage young men to go to the stadium, support their clubs, and encourage the vociferous way that will encourage the team to perform better. That's what I hope that the Chelsea Football Forum and whatever we've got in terms of are season ticket holders and members. I'm still a member now, but the way the membership is compared to how it was in the old days is very different. You know, yeah, we get information about tickets and one or two minor perks, but that sort of coordinating support and bringing out songs and things like that doesn't happen anymore, and that's a crying shame because that would make all the difference. That's why we get that in places like Legia, Warsaw, and so on. It's coordinated support. We need to bring that back to Chelsea.
All right, give me a second here. Let's see what else we have here. Big up to you too, Namaya, and good evening. Good evening to you too, Chalma, the queen of the house. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. I do hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. And who else we have here? Namaya, the sporting directors have to leave. That's we should
There
fancy
we
direct
go.
their anger at them and not the manager.
Here we go.
Joba Anelka, Zola, Crispo, they were very good. Okay. Chelsea is struggling, definitely, but I don't think it makes sense to blame the manager. What else do we have
Coach,
here?
please, can you give me grace to just address that comment because I have
No,
to
don't
go
worry
back
about it.
to.
No, let's just move on. Don't worry about it. I know what you're talking about. Don't worry about it, please, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Did you see Maresca said the fans was the reason why we considered the goal? I have to watch that again. I think that's been misinterpreted. But unfortunately, when you
It is.
are in the sort of situation that he is, anything you said, people will interpret it and you will see variations of whatever you said, even though you hear things you didn't mean to say or things you didn't want to say. And I'm going to just stick with English isn't his first language, and I don't want to get to that really. But that's just me. See it the way you see it. Hi to you too, Miss Melina. Nice to see you, my sister. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show this particular evening. A large up to you too, my sister. I appreciate you. Respect to you too. I did trigger the command. It took a while. Let's see. How can Maresca blame the fans? I'm not going to get into that because I don't believe he's blaming them. I think that was being misinterpreted. But I'm going to go back to telling you the fans' support for the team should be unconditional as long as you're in the stadium. And I'm going to say it wasn't like, I'm going to say this. It wasn't like we were playing badly before we considered. It was due to you could I think it'd be correct to call it defensive lapses, especially the first goal. We consider we were on them, we were dominating. The only thing we didn't get was a goal, and that's I'm gonna leave it at that. And people go and subscribe to Miss Melina's YouTube channel. She covers all EPL clubs and beyond. The link is there, and she's a nice person. More importantly, understands footy very well. And Vicky saying wasn't thanking the fans when they were singing his name. I think he thanked them. If in fact he was blaming the fans for the draw, I'd say absolutely wrong. But I think that's being misinterpreted. I'm going to listen to that again and try to see things from the foreign perspective and see if I can come up with anything else different. But I'm just going to leave it at that. What else do we have here? Keep dropping the likes on the stream. The club has been in decline for 5 months now. What does he expect from the fans? Support. If you're going to ask that question, do I think we have issues? Yeah. But do I think the fans should be booing the team? It doesn't help, especially when you have a young side. That's just my opinion. And I'm going to go back to saying something I already said. I asked the question, what's the purpose of the fans? To support. And when is the support most important? When the team is struggling. Except if we agree that we have fair weather match going fans. Only when things are good. Irrespective of how badly your team is playing, your job is to support the team. And I'm going to say things that I've said before. The fans' support could be the difference between a team winning a trophy, losing a trophy, getting relegated, or winning games, or making top four, in my opinion. So, and let's not, again, Vic, come on, man, let's not drag something I didn't even I don't want to get into that, but we'll talk privately. Let's not start some conversation here that it's going to alienate some section of the fan base. Chelsea Sessions, nice to see you, Ty. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you. Do I think we will? Do you think top 4-5 is over? Let's stick with this. Mathematically, it isn't over. It's not. But we have to start winning games. One of the reasons why I'm saying mathematically that it isn't over. Let me go to the presentation window. Something else I want us to talk about here. Let's look at the schedule of Nottingham Forest. I think they will eventually drop off from there. Not necessarily, you could argue, partly driven by my belief, but also I've taken my time to look at the run of games they have left. I think they will drop off up of there. Then we have one more opportunity, and there are others I looked at. I think we'll finish there, but we need to start winning. Do I think certainly we will? I'm not sure how to respond to that. What's going to happen? What's going to happen right now is this: we just have to start winning, and hope definitely a huge part of whether we end up finishing there. I'm waiting for something to load up here so that I can show you the run of games that Nottingham Forest they have. They will fall off there, creating one more opportunity for us. I think we'll finish in the top 5. Newcastle, I haven't really looked at their schedule, and we still have to play them. What we have to do is beat them when we get to that point. So we're still at this. I'll still come back to this particular question here, and I'll see what Bobby has to say about that. I think top 5 is over. You have every right to see it that way. From the, even we can that it's not over until it's over. As long as mathematically it's possible, I'm not going to say it's over. Irrespective of the teams we still have to play, especially the last 4 games. But this guys also Nottingham Forest they still do have difficult games, and there are things I will look at here. We will play around with that. I'll leave. You know what? I'll leave this question because it's taking the FODMAP application a lot of time to load. So what I'm going to do is I'll leave this. Then we'll come back to it later on. Let's address all the news items we have first. Then we come back to talking about whether we'll finish in the top 4 or not. So that's a question I'd really would like to answer. If you get my point. Anything else here to address? We have Rabataha, nice to see you. I knew our defense was poor when them young defenders couldn't bench a 40-year-old Thiago Silva, no strong tackles. We need to sign a defender, a goalkeeper, and an attacker. A 10 also, 4 players really. Like you kept supporting your neighbor with the crazy dog. People have emotions. They're not robots. I mean, fans support for the club they claim to support is a different thing with that of a crazy neighbor. I get it, people's emotions, which is why one of the first things we did here was to read a comment from one of the strongest supporters of this channel. The person I did the first live stream with, Mikhail. We didn't fight. We had no issue. He didn't quarrel with anybody in the group, in the panelist group chat. He just was in a very bad place mentally because of where we are as a club or Chelsea fans. He's pained. He had to leave the group.
Coach,
And to
please,
show you he's still,
I have to add something to this. I really
yeah.
do. I really
So
do.
we had a private conversation.
It-
He was explaining he just needs to take a break from it. And I reminded him, before I became a content creator, in such situations, do you know what I do? I'll delete all sporting apps from all my devices so I don't get any news related to Chelsea. Until Chelsea wins again, then I'll come back. But as a content creator, I've over time learned not to let it get to the whole situation, get to the mental aspect of my life. Even when I'm pained, I'll still find a way to navigate it, look at things from a distance. Okay, what is going on here? Why are we where we are today? What is the solution? And I've become so seasoned that I've learned that when, again, for instance, screaming Maresca out now will not happen. It won't change anything. Screaming at the owners won't change anything. Nothing changes until the transfer window comes around. We can express our anger, dissent, maybe have a conversation about it, but I've learned to focus on, okay, why is it happening? What is the solution? And I don't allow it get to the mental aspect of my life. Bobby, I'll get to you in a bit. Yeah, so the neighbor's dog analogy, Vic, I love you, I don't think it works. I don't think. I get it. People emotions, yeah, I get it. And I used a very good example there. Sometimes I found myself unnecessarily screaming at my team, at my kids, because of how badly Chelsea are playing in the past. But I realized that, again, that what I was doing, and I've, yeah, dealt with it. If that makes sense. Let's stop this fans thing. It wasn't like we were playing a Champions League semi-final or not. Here's the thing: irrespective of how your team plays, if you call yourself a fan, you have to support your team. You have the right to show anger, to show you're not happy. But what's the essence of being a fan? To support your team. What is the support needed the most when your team isn't doing well? It's really that simple, and that's my opinion. Okay, the argument that the club is declining shouldn't be the driving force of what fans have opted to do. That's like saying, "Oh, a house is already burning, so yeah, let's pour gasoline on it and let it burn down." Where we should support for Pochettino, I did support Pochettino, and yeah, I gave up at one point, and I would say, yeah, let him go at the end of the season. I supported Pochettino. I was one of those that talked about how he was underappreciated, how he actually overachieved at Tottenham. I was one of those that preached that, yeah, that's the first for everything. I convinced Bobby to start supporting him. And the same thing goes to Bobby and Dante. Suddenly, fans cannot react to Maresca. Fans can, but try to understand how I see things. I'm not saying fans have no right to do that. I'm just saying support your team. More importantly, the problem, it seems like Newcastle, City, and Villa are playing better. Yeah, we can actually turn it around too. But I get where you're coming from. Big up to you too. The Prince is here. Nice to see you, Choma. One day, Choma is saying Newcastle have a game in hand. Yeah, I know that, but I'd say that Nottingham Forest will drop out, gives us more opportunity, and I still think we'll finish in the top five. Has Okay, I don't believe that. If you believe it, go with it. What else do we have here? Coach, you have no right. It says, Coach, you have no right to question how everyone chooses. I'm not questioning. I'm just saying what I have talked about is the essence of being a supporter of a club, and the support should be when your support is needed the most when the team is struggling. That's my argument. Did you just join and you just want to fight me? But just by the way, Bobby wanted to say something. He's not here, so I'll let Max speak if he wants to come in. If he has heard anything I've said and wants to come in, did you see Gallagher say Chelsea wouldn't make top five? Gallagher isn't God. It's his opinion. They said Chelsea won't finish in the top four, or was it they didn't count Chelsea in when Antonio Conte won the league with us? A lot of the pundits at the time didn't know we were going to get close to second or even third place or win it. When we won the Champions League, a lot of them didn't give us a chance. So what Carragher says doesn't matter to me. What matters is let our players take the responsibility, do the work that we need to do to be there, and not hope for other teams to falter for us to get there. So if you supported Poch until you gave up, why are you going up mad? But if I'm in the stadium, I won't boo him. I won't boo the players. That's how I'm different. I am. So, but I'm still supporting Maresca, and I'm not going to give up on him now. I haven't seen a reason enough to say he's the reason why we are where we're at. Is it possible? No. Is it perfect? No, he's not perfect. I've mentioned areas that I think he can do better. But does it make sense to fire him now, even at the end of the season? No. Fire him, hire who? That's just my opinion. Fulham, Everton, Liverpool, Newcastle, and all of them you mentioned that they are going to win. Okay, let's see. Don't turn your opinion to criticism of the fans. I'm not critiquing the fans. I'm just making my opinion clear. Vic, go back to work and leave me alone. All right, Bobby, let's hear you. You wanted to say something. And Tai is saying cannot, yeah, SHI to your bed, not clean it, and want to slip in it later. Some fans might appreciate the way we play, but those who don't have the right not to. The division between the fan base is clear, and it's not helping. Bobby, you wanted to say something before you went out. I think you got disconnected. Yes, yeah, your Max is also in the house, and I'd like to get Max's opinion before we knock out the news items we
Yeah.
have. Let's hear you.
How was your gosh, you were echoing. Look, there's a clear the meaning is in the name. There is the division in the fan base, if you can call it that, is that there is a clear distinction between the Chelsea supporters and the Chelsea followers. And a lot of the followers have come from this social media culture that associates creating negativity around the club with a fellowship of the club, looking for, as I keep saying,
Mhm.
clicks and subscriptions and all that. That's what a lot of the driving force is behind this. And there are some main actors here that have managed to create some converts into their system, in that, yes, football is an emotional sport. When we're used to winning, and if you have to absorb a few bad performances and a few losses, if you have been indoctrinated into this blame everything on Bowley, now is blame everything on Blueco, now is blame, there must always be some sacrificial lamb for their frustration to then be publicized and to further create the toxicity within their midst. The saying misery loves company is very, very appropriate to this situation. Look, coach, the Chelsea supporters are the people that back in the day, when the club went down, was relegated. We've had that experience. They continued singing in the shed. When the club used to play some dreadful football, they continued singing in the shed. That is support. You're there to pump up the team. You are the 12th man. You are the person that keeps on being behind the club, win, lose, or draw. That's Chelsea support. Chelsea becomes part of the fabric of your existence. And yes, you may not like certain things. The period of time we went through when the developers, you're laughing, but it's true. The period of time we went through when the developers were trying to sell off the club, which led to the whole pitch owners thing, was where the supporters came in to support the club, to preserve the club. The days when the club was going into complete liquidation, the supporters were out there collecting money in buckets for the club. That is support. I know we're going through a period of slight frustration after the glory days of Roman and the complete destruction from the government, and now we're in a rebuild. But you can express your frustration without expressing or including a destruction. And some of the things that's going on out there is destroying the club. And and I'll be shocked if this happened, but if in the stadium, when we were 2-0 down, fans started booing the players, I don't think that's acceptable, to be honest, because they're young, and that is the time that fans should have been screaming the loudest for the club. Maybe at the end of the game, you may show some dissatisfaction, but to boo the players within the game when you go 2-0 down, it's not acceptable. Those aren't the Chelsea fans I know, and I'll be shocked if that actually happened.
And if I don't know if you heard me when I said that I think the hostility towards Maresca, I think, is misplaced. Is the hatred for the all current owners, and because they've tried and seen it, yeah, they're not gonna get to them. And even after the protest, Bolly came out and say, yeah, they're making progress, irrespective of how anybody sees it. Uh,
Coach, let me
if
put
you
it
get my
this
point.
way. I
Yeah.
do get your point. Football now is driven by ownership by high financiers. What do these people actually want? These people have put their money where their mouth is and invested 1.5 billion in the playing staff to rebuild the club from scratch straight to the top. It's a very difficult thing to do. We are becoming a fan base that is so spoiled. Even if Roman, or even if that was so spoiled, I mean, even if Roman was still here, he probably may have had to sell the club because the financial demands of sustaining a top level club was almost beyond him. Or he would have had to recruit some help or something. Or he would have had to maybe double, triple, or quadruple his revenue income. Look, we've got to understand that you've got to be owned by somebody. You've got to be owned by somebody. And if it's not this lot, it'll be somebody else. And none of them at this point will do anything that you will quite like. They won't be direct fans like Roman was. Those days are over. You know, we had a period of time where we had Jack Walker owning Blackburn Rovers, if you remember that time. He was a fan. We had, what's that guy that owned Newcastle? Was it Freddie Shepherd? He owned Newcastle. He was a fan. But
Before Mike
that,
Ashley.
yeah, before Mike Ashley, he was a fan. Even
Who,
Ashley
Mike
was a
Ashley has he
fan.
sold Newcastle? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, even he was a fan. It's just he didn't have the money to keep up with what was going on in football. So those days of fan ownerships has passed. We are now in the days of conglomerate ownerships. And there are going to be some things that will keep fans out of the picture a bit because it's not your money, it's theirs. However, what you have to hope for and understand is that the profit in football is winning in football. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So this
Yeah.
lot cannot not want Chelsea to win. And that's a message that has to go along. People are getting too involved in the nitty gritty and the total detail of the accounting. We've got so many amateur accountants out there, it's laughable. And they're accounting things that they don't quite understand. That's why sometimes when I listen to Simon Jordan talking about it, who brings a lot of sanity into the Chelsea financial aspirations and the purpose of the project. I just think, look, this is somebody that kind of knows what he's talking about. And yet we have all these fans who I understand the emotion, but this throwing the baby out with the bathwater is ridiculous.
All right, Max, please 1 minute. Let me catch up. Give those in the chat microphone. I'll come back to you if you want to add anything to what you've heard us talk about before we go on to rounding up again, addressing the news items we have lined up and getting to discuss whether the possibility of us finishing in the top four. Vic, go back to work or go back to bed. Leave me alone. I have a show to host. You're my brother, but right now. I'm just kidding anyway. You know how we operate here. Your open everybody's opinion matters. Yeah. We don't have to agree. We don't have an echo chamber here. You express your opinion, I express mine, and that is fine by me. We've addressed that one. Things I actually think our early form was actually built, and the ending of last season form has anything changed? This is a no because so far no. Wow, no player has improved on that as a Maresca. Okay, but the Prince, welcome back. Nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. I like your name again, Rabba Taha. I like that name. The earned and sounds of both names I like. I like rhymes a lot. Yep, the legendary Max is in the house. One of them is drinking tea, and it's making me feel like I need to drink coffee too. Don't give Vic muscle here. Go away, Ty. Vic is saying, let's see what Vic has to say here. One more thing. Most families are not united, but you expect a large fan base of football club to fall in line. Here's the thing. You've heard me before say we all don't have to agree. If we all agree that something is wrong. So, but I get your opinion there. This is live, but it doesn't make a certain fan base bad. He's not saying they're bad. He's just he's expressing his own opinion. But of course, you want to fight. Are we poor or not? That's the real question. If you are not a Chelsea fan, if you accept this nonsense, what nonsense? You have to tell us what nonsense are you talking about. We like to hear people's opinion, but I'm guessing if you accept what's happening, what can we do about it now? Nothing. And saying we should
See what I
support
mean
our
by
team,
throwing the baby out with the
yeah,
bathwater?
exactly. Saying that we saying you can say saying that we should support our team doesn't mean you accept what's going on. Do I accept us not being in the sixth place? No, I don't.
Chill, man, chill. You did it to me
No,
before.
I have to be honest with you. Do I? No, I don't. But that I'm not throwing. I can't throw the baby away with the bathwater. So I like that analogy. Actually, does that make sense to you? Manager will come and go. Chances that Maresca, irrespective of whether I support him or not, and since Vic used that word irrespective here in the comment section, chances that I haven't stopped using it. He will come, he will go, Chelsea will remain. Players will come, players will go, Chelsea will remain. Yeah, Mourinho was fired. I then died because of it. My favorite Chelsea manager in Thomas Tuchel was let go without explanation. I'm still here supporting Chelsea. So I don't understand. Everybody, irrespective of that person's opinion, whether they want the owners to sign a 60-year-old, whether they want the owners to sign a 70-year-old, whether they like Maresca, whether they want Maresca out, it's all coming from the place of love. And that's why we're here to have a conversation and try to make sense of what's going on. Try to come to a sensible conclusion. You don't have to live here agreeing with me. But I do learn something from you whenever you express your opinion. One thing I've always put first is that everything we say here is coming from a place of love. Whether you're screaming Todd Bowley out from here to tomorrow, it's coming from a place of love. Go get Panadol or Advil. Campos is the director. What else do we have here? Jabulani, all the remaining games are winnable only if we go all out to fight for each game. Like our lives depend on them. Yeah, we have to work for it. We can't just start, not perform, not play like we want it, and then expect other teams to falter so we can finish there. Simon Jordan is not good, but when it comes to Chelsea, he speaks the truth, in my opinion. You don't like him. Simon Jordan failed at Palace. He nearly ruined them financially, and there was no success on the pitch. But yeah. Max, big up to you and thank you for joining us. Sorry, we were hearing everything that was going on your end, so I had to mute you. You probably didn't know you weren't on mute. Your thoughts on anything you've heard us talk about, or should we go on to addressing the news items we have lined up? Yeah, up to you. But big up and
hi
thank you for joining.
guys. Hi guys. Yeah,
big up, Max.
Yeah, big up. And Bob is gone, is he? Okay.
He's having a connection issue.
Oh right, okay. First of all, I want to tackle the situation with the fans. I don't advocate booing at all, under any circumstances, because I'm not happy with what's going on at the moment. But I would never ever boo the players at a match because I just think that's counterproductive. If we want to finish top four, we got to do our supporting on the pitch, and anything which we don't like, that can be addressed afterwards. We've had situations like this before. This isn't the first time that we've had it. I remember when we had Ranieri as our manager, and there was a certain player, Djukanovic, who we had, and every time his name was called, he was booed, and it didn't sit well with me at the time when I used to go to the games. Benitez was another one who used to get booed at games, and it did affect the players, and I know that for a fact. We've got a young squad of players here now who are in their early 20s, and it's going to affect them. Because if you saw that footage where Sanchez had the ball and people were giving him loads of abuse behind the goal, and he could hear the abuse because it was right directly behind him. And if you've got a goalkeeper who's short on confidence, he's not my favourite goalkeeper, but he's low on confidence, the worst thing you can do is to start shouting at him, abusing him. Is that going to make him perform better? No, it isn't. So it's I don't understand the point of the booing myself. Yeah, I can understand the fans' frustrations. Yeah, of it's not going well on the pitch. They want to.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, they want to play a quicker, faster game. At the moment, it's a bit slow. So I can understand the frustration from the fans. Grumblings happen all the time at football matches when things are not going. But booing and abusing players, for me, I just see that as a no-no. And yeah, I just don't see how that's going to help us going forward until the end of the season. Do you want me to talk about where I think we're going to finish, or we're going to discuss that afterwards?
Don't know if Coach is there. Coach, you still there? Or you're on mute? What's happened? I can't even see him.
Has this connection gone as well?
I don't know. But you may as well talk about where we're going to finish if you.
Yeah.
Going to go to that.
If he's going to go to, I don't know. I can't see us finishing in the top 6 on current, or at the moment on current form. I think we're going to finish 7th. Personally, because at the moment I've seen no evidence of a team that can finish in the top 5 for me. I think we're going to miss out on Champions League. The game against Ipswich was the one that I thought we had to win if we've got any chance. Now, the only hope would be if Nottingham Forest implode, because if you look at the fixtures that Manchester City have, they've got an easy run in towards now to the end of the season. Villa have got a difficult run in, so I'm not really too worried about Villa. But
I think they
the game
play
against
Newcastle.
Max, if you guys can hear me, I'll be right back.
we can hear you now. Yeah. Villa. I think they've got their run is quite difficult, but there's some stats I think here which are quite alarming. I'm just trying to bring them up here. Right, we've only beaten so Chelsea have yet to beat a side in the top 10 in 2025, and from the current standings, they're only 4 wins. They've only had 4 wins against the top 10 team all season. That was against Bournemouth, Brighton and Hove Albion, Newcastle, and Aston Villa. And the other thing is, we've only won 5 matches out of our last 14, I believe, and those 5 we've won are Tottenham Hotspurs, who are in 15th, Wolves, who are in 16th, West Ham, who are in 17th, Leicester in 19th, and Southampton in 20th. So, in fact, we haven't beaten a team who's over 14th in the league since the turn of the year. And so all the teams that we've got left now are in the top half of the table, apart from barring Manchester United. So for me, it's going to be a tall order, because plus coupled with the fact that Cole Palmer's out of form and Nicholas Jackson, they're both out of form. So I just can't see how we're going to do it, to be honest. I hope we do, but I just don't have any confidence in us finishing in top 4.
I think just to make a conversation of it, really, I would lean on looking at things with a bit of hope and pragmatism. I understand where you're coming from. It's a almost logical sentiment. It really is. But one thing, you've mentioned some key things. One, you've said that we're playing teams that are in the top 6. Fortunately or unfortunately, quite a few of those teams are teams that are vying for the same top 5 position, top 4, top 5 position that we are. We've got to play Newcastle, we've got to play Forest, and shall I say, a ever resurgent Everton.
And the derby
However,
against Fulham as well.
yeah, Fulham's the tricky one. That's another one that I can't say I feel confident with because of our lack of physicality and lack of finishing. That does give me some big concerns. However, playing teams like Man United, who by the time we meet them, who knows what they'll have actually left to play for, and Liverpool, the same thing, who may have already won the league. Um, uh, I don't know. They might just come out and play in a way that will suit us. I'm trying to be positive here, by the way. Um, and I think Forest is the last game of the season, which I think I do have concerns of because they could be struggling for the positions that we are, and they are a very physical side, which we have been struggling with. Look, I don't know. Football is never an exact science, never. And one thing I know about Chelsea Football Club is that we tend to do things when people don't believe we can. That's the only kind of hope to hold on to in this situation. But
If
you're
we
right.
play Forest, if we play Forest, and it's all to play for in that game, then all as difficult as it is, I actually think we may beat them because I think the pressure will be too much for them. I know our players haven't been in this situation before, but because of the
Mm.
stature of our club, I just think they may buckle because they've been in and about the top 3 or 4 for all season. So I
Mm.
think in the big match they may actually choke.
Well, all this is left to be seen, isn't it? One thing I know is in football we never say never, and it ain't over till the fat lady sings. As bad as our form is as good as it can be by the next game. In football, you're only as good as your next games. These are all cliches that I often use, which I find to be true. And I think in this case, you've no matter what it looks like, you've got to hold optimism. I mean, all of us here, especially the likes of you and me, Max, all of us here remember some miracles that we've pulled off. We stepped into the Allianz Arena on the 19th of May 2012, and the rest is history. That was a miracle in itself.
But look at the
The,
players and the character of those players, though.
Yeah, I mean, but even then, our two centre backs were injured more or less, and we were without some of our key giants, and still somehow we pulled it off. Even the victory in the Dragona Stadium in Porto against the then probably the renowned best team in the world at that time, which was Man City, and we put them to bed. People may say, okay, you had N'Golo Kante, who covers 30% of the world that's not covered by water. I'm just trying to be funny here, but we don't know. We've got to keep the faith. As precarious as it seems, who dares wins. We've got to be there, and the club has done it at times where we think we can't. So we've got to hold on to the bitter end,
But what
or
gives you
till
that
it's
hope, though?
mathematically not possible. I don't have hope. I have hope in hope itself. Let's put it that way. It's mathematically possible, which means it's possible. Look how we ended the season last season. We were on our knees. Top six was, we were all hoping to end up in the top half of the table. Top six. At one time, we were going for top five. We ended up the season, if the season had started that way, as being a top two side, or was it a top three side? So with Chelsea, anything's possible. I got to believe that. If not, we just stop watching the games.
Mm, yeah, I hear you, but I don't know. I don't give you much hope. If we can if we get a result against Fulham, then maybe it depends how results go over the weekend.
I think Fulham's quite key for us. Is that Ty that's joined us? I don't know. I think
Yeah,
Fulham.
Ty. Ian?
Yes, it is. Yes, sir. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I had to jump on because this is a rare thing. Um, Joining both you, Bobby, and Max. So, I had to take the opportunity when it was there.
The
Um,
good old days,
but yeah,
Yeah, I
Delap.
heard you well.
yeah, yeah. That's one of the reasons because it's been very long, very long. It's how things started actually. So, yeah. Um, but
Max
yeah,
was
I
was
had
the
to.
start of all this. Yeah, we got to
Right,
always remember that.
definitely. Yeah. So
Go on.
so that's the thing. But I came on because of the fact that Max had been saying some things, and I'd been watching one of his videos that he posted recently, and some of the points that he raised in it, and also what was really being discussed in the chat, and perhaps for the past 50 minutes or more, about the whole thing with the fan base, and the booing of the team, and all that, and the whole thing with Maresca, and the whole blaming and all that. So I think in terms of that, it's something where you can understand both sides. You can understand the side that is obviously defending it, and also the side of the persons who are actually, well, doing it. I know there's one thing that Max ended up doing that was really interesting to me, and I think a lot of people forgot about, is the fact that when you look at the history of Chelsea, and in terms of the fans, and the whole booing of players, or booing managers, or whatever the case may be, it's not something that is new. It's just that no, or the situation is that it's a time where things are not being followed with success. And this is perhaps one of the hottest time where new ownership and all that, where in terms of success you haven't really seen that under this ownership. So it makes it difficult for fans to really say that, okay, maybe we're being too harsh, because it's obviously a case of you spend so much money, and we're still yet to reap the rewards that you promised us when you
That's a very
first
good
came in,
point.
or before you came in. So
Mm.
so all of that is something that you have to remember. And when he said that, I respected it. So and it really got me to think as well. So that is a very important thing. And then obviously, when you look at the whole aspect of how young the team is, you have to remember that the team is not filled with robots. And it's funny that Vic said what he said about the fans are not robots, which you can also say that the players aren't robots. So you have the right to be emotional about it, but also you need to understand that there are some players, and the team is filled with a lot of young players who are still finding their trade in football. So if you're going to be booing them, it's going to impact them. The whole thing with Sanchez and blaming for the second goal, and saying that he had a part to play in it, that was debatable. And I think that was something that was also mentioned by Max in that video as well, about the whole thing of Sanchez makes mistakes, and you don't need to say something to him for him to make a mistake. He makes mistakes. It's either on a game by game basis, or every other game. So it's not a case where it's unique. But the whole point is that I can understand as well the frustration on both sides, especially the ones that want to show support to Maresca. And I mean, there's something that coach said that I really wanted to really say something about, which is the whole thing of, if you do sack Maresca, who comes in? That is a question that is valid. It's not a case where there's no managers you can go for. The problem is that in terms of the model, the structure, we saw what happened. We were linked with other managers, and we didn't get those managers coming in, and there's a reason for that, because the model is the way that it is. The structure, the principles, and the philosophy of what the owners want, it doesn't align with a lot of managers. People are saying get Jose Mourinho, people are saying get Conte, get these managers. The fact is, if you look at the identity of those, or the personalities or the characters of those managers, if they were to come, which is highly unlikely at this juncture, because the owners have already said they're not going to go for anybody that was at Chelsea before, it's not going to work, because they're going to be vocal, they're going to complain, they're going to say that we need certain players. And I mean, even Maresca has said it in recent time that sign a striker, even if it doesn't fit into the build of under the 20 age or 25, or they're not filled with a lot of experience, sign them, because he saw that the team needs that level of experience to guide these young players. So it's not a case of you can't get managers, you can, but the fact is the model, it disregards some of those options. So Luis Enrique, that did not happen. Hansi Flick did not happen, although he wanted to go to Barcelona. Nagelsmann, that didn't work out, and I'm still yet to see a definitive reason as to why it did not work out, because it's speculation at this point. People are saying one thing, some people are saying we rejected him, other people are saying he rejected us. So it's not consistent and it's not clear. So I think all of that is important. But the whole aspect of what fans are saying on both sides, it's understandable and it's a good debate. So as long as there's no toxic or any attacking of anybody's character and all of that, I think it's a good argument to really pose, and that's one of the more healthy arguments to have, rather than looking at it as saying, oh, you're being a hypocrite for this, or you're not being a fan of the club, or you're not doing this, because every fan have the right to really express themselves in a way that they see fit, because everybody has that right. It's your born given right for you to want to say certain things, but it's the way that you do it that really matters at the end of the day.
Can I just add to that, Ty? What you've said is very, very interesting, and I think you've made some extremely strong points. I think the point I underline, I mean, fortunately, we're still in a part of the world that's free, and we do have a freedom of expression. What I wanted to underline is that Coach made a very important point that everything that is often done within the Chelsea fan base, whether right or wrong, whether good or bad, whether criticism or not, even when you throw the baby out with the bathwater, it all comes from a place of love, and it all comes from a place of wanting to see the club succeed. Now, you made a very, very, very good point, and that's why I think it's quite important for us to win this conference league, which isn't a given, by the way. But that trophy matters. That is, Jose, when he came, he went all out for that League Cup because he knows that first trophy is important, and that first trophy is important to put to give to the fans for all the, albeit about 3 years of rebuild. The fans do need something to hold on to because the fans are used to success. But the point I wanted to highlight, you said, well, everybody is free to express themselves in the way they want to. Yes and no. Why I say that is that, you see, as fans, especially when you're at the stadium, it doesn't help if you conduct your frustration in a certain way. Sometimes you need to, even if the players are doing something stupid, even if they're being humiliated, that is the time, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. That is the time to get behind them, and then deal with your emotions later. I was very interested to see how against Legia Warsaw, when the third goal went in, their ultras started um, um, choreographing a huge cacophony of support to the team. They weren't happy at getting their ass kicked the way the way we were dealing with them, but they really stood behind the club. Now we need to do that with these youngsters. Their heads can drop quite easily. I mean, look at even Nkunku. He's not even a youngster, but part of Nkunku's problem is loss of confidence because he's not scoring. I think sometimes even someone like Jackson, he is a young player, and boy, does he miss chances. But I think some of those chances he misses, he may convert if we are behind him. The wind in the sails coming from the stands really matters. We remember when we went to play Everton at a time when they were close to relegation, and the place was like a blooming firestorm. They were screaming and it was rocking in support for them. And they completely intimidated us back then. So, I think we do have a responsibility as Chelsea fans. We've got to support the club, especially now that we're trying to achieve something. Now, will we do that or not? I hope so. I believe a lot of Chelsea fans, as a group and individually, are very intelligent people. And we will see that what we do affects the team. That's why I'm shocked to even hear that on a match day, that match going fans were needling the players. If I don't like Sanchez, never wanted him as our number one. And I think the guy that brought him there, who Roberts is his name, is he John Roberts? I think he needs to take a really good look at himself. But I wouldn't in the stadium be booing the players. No, not now. Not at this crucial time in the season. We've got to get behind them, and I think it will lift them and it will give them better performances. Because think about it, we're not that far away. Really, Chelsea aren't that far away. It's just a couple of players here and there and a couple of chances put away here and there that we've been missing that could make all the difference, especially in these last 6 games.
Yeah, you make a good point, because if you remember, what's his name, Werner, Timo Werner, and
Oh, yeah.
Torres. Those two, they were terrible for us at times, but the crowd kept singing their names. And I remember Timo Werner doing an interview one time, and where he said, "I don't know why the Chelsea fans keep supporting me, because I haven't been very good," but it kept him going. It kept him going along that poor run, and the same with Torres. So the fans, the players they do have emotions, and as I said before, this is a young group of players we're talking about. We're not talking about experienced players like your Terrys, your Drogbas, who could probably handle a little bit of criticism if it did come their way. Even Drogba, though, remember when Drogba first came and he wasn't performing, he he lost a bit of confidence. He wanted to go back to Marseille because the fans were giving him a hard time, and then that turned out well, and in the end. So um, yeah, so this set of players, they're still kids, a lot of them, and this, it's going to affect their performances, without a shadow of doubt. So um, that's why, as I said, I don't advocate for this sort of behaviour at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, if I had my way, Cole Palmer, he is young. He's going to go through what he's going through now, but this is a time for the fans to be singing his name,
Yep.
uplifting him. Remember Gallagher? Gallagher when he came back, he started having some stinkers, but especially after he got that red card against Leicester. But it was the fans that brought him on and brought out the battling character in him. Now he didn't have the best of technical ability, but he had heart. And by the time the season ended, Gallagher was perhaps one of the big key players in our midfield. So we are the 12th man. We have a huge part to play in this running, and we've got to get behind this team. I think just like you, Max. I think Fulham is a big game for us. It's a key game, and if, please God, we manage to get the right result there, it's all up for grabs. And we've got to make Stamford Bridge. Anytime anybody comes there, these last few games, it's got to be a cauldron. We all know and have all lived through some of those big Champions League nights that Stamford Bridge would be absolutely rocking. We've been there. We've been there, Max. You've been there. You've stood in that
Yep.
stadium. You're like, my God, what is going on here? That's what we're capable of, and that's how we should take this team across the line.
Yeah, this is. I'm looking at the fixtures for the upcoming weekend, and this is key because Everton play Man City, so at Everton. So that's not going to be easy for Man City because Everton have been quite strong defensively recently. And Aston Villa, Newcastle go to Aston Villa. So something's got to give out of those two. And I think don't Forest play Crystal Palace? Oh no, Forest go to Tottenham. So I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
that's going to be.
they'll bottle that one. So yeah.
Yeah, don't
So if
trust
we
Tottenham
can
for
get
anything.
something out of that Fulham game, well, as I said, especially with Aston Villa playing Newcastle and Everton versus Man City, then I think that can bring back a bit of confidence into the team. And I think the week after we play Everton, which isn't going to be easy, Newcastle play Ipswich, which should be a gimme for them. And I think it's FA Cup week that week, so I don't think Forest have got a game that particular week because of the FA Cup.
No. But when we're in a situation like this, how I deal with it is that I only look at one game at a time. The next game is the only game in my mind, and I think the players should look at it that way, because if they look too far ahead, too many ifs and buts, and you can lose focus. We've got to take one game at a time, especially the home games. I don't want to think about Ipswich anymore, but the last thing I'll say about that is, look, that was, I just pray that doesn't come back to bite us, because that was such a wasted opportunity. But it is what it is, and we still have a chance, and we've got to go for it. Both the players on the pitch, and we, the fans, off the pitch. We can do this. We've got to inject ourselves into the club and be a representative, be a source of encouragement. Even on social media, some of these players see this stuff. It's just not healthy. Blue coat out, yada yada, Bowley out, Barley out. I mean, after a while, you're like, really? I mean, gosh, come on. You're not being. It almost sounds almost childish. You know, they're not do. Yeah, they made a few mistakes. Yeah, but ultimately, just as Coach said, everything is coming from. If you don't want to use the word love, a desire. Use the word a desire for success. Whether you're the people running the club, investing the money, purchasing the players, the fans, getting frustrated, getting upset, saying a few negative things. Well, more than a few. We're all Chelsea, and the sooner we remember that, especially at this running, the better. And if we can, please God, get to the Champions League positions, we still have a lot to play for. Hopefully, we'll be talking of a cup final, and hopefully, we've got a shout at the World Club Cup, which I think we should be going into with the sole purpose of trying to walk away with that trophy. It's not impossible.
Mm.
Uh, I just wanted to clarify something that you had said, Bobby. I wasn't saying that fans have the right to be attacking players. I was saying that if and I went back to saying that if it's not in a toxic way, and with that being said, the whole thing of even with what Max even said after that about with Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, obviously that goes a long way, and that is why I've always taken the approach that you have to be careful with these players, especially the players that are they're either coming into the trade, or they're coming from a different league, because they have to adapt, and perhaps the circumstances are different now, because obviously Jackson, he signed last season, but obviously he's still adapting still, and all of that. But that all of that is very important. And looking at all the fixtures of the other teams, because I think in an amount that what you have, Newcastle have their game in hand being played against Crystal Palace, I think, in the
On
week,
Wednesday,
this
yeah,
week,
yeah.
right? So if they win that, they go 5 points clear of us.
When
Um,
they win it.
yeah. Well. You can say when they will, when they do. Yeah, when they do. So yeah. I mean, so I can share the sentiment that you obviously raised earlier about not seeing Chelsea getting top four, top five, top six, probably finishing seventh, because that's how competitive those positions are. And Fulham isn't really much of a threat right now, but they're not far behind. I think they're 6 points behind, or something like
It's
that.
a derby. It's a local derby, and if anything, they'll be trying 110% to beat us.
Yeah,
It means a lot to them, that game. Their supporters and everything. So yeah, that's not going to be easy.
And it's
yeah,
away at their ground, albeit it's
They want
next
to do the
door.
double over us. Never done the double over us. I don't think ever.
Yeah.
So
But this is where these boys have to show some heart. You've got to. There's no gimmies in the English Premier League. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for weaklings, physically, mentally, as well. You've got to be up for the fight. You have to fight for the right to play.
but have
You've
you
got.
seen evidence of that in the last few weeks, though, Bobby?
Well, sadly, we haven't. That's just that's it. But it doesn't mean to say that they can't, because they've shown that they can. It's just they need to do that consistently, game in, game out, and the manager has to make the right selections. Um,
Yes.
he's done
I
some
don't
weird
know.
things.
Yeah, I'm not sure if James is still carrying some sort of an injury. That way he didn't feature at all
Hmm.
yesterday, because I thought that was strange. He's meant to be our captain, and if our captain's not even getting a couple of minutes off the bench, then that's a worry for me. Um,
Yeah, I
and we
mean,
also had, I thought Achampong, who was very good the other day,
yeah.
if he wanted to, and that was another thing which confused me, because if he wanted to play like a right-sided defender stroke fullback, then I would have played Achampong over Shadowbar, because I think he's proved what he can do. Because nothing. It looks like nothing phases that boy,
Hmm.
and he's very good playing as a right back. So if you want to play a three at the back and then move into a four, whatever, he's the perfect person for that. And we saw what he did when he moved into midfield as well. He
Hmm.
was very accomplished as a midfielder in that game. So and for it doesn't bode well for the youngsters when he said he was our best player against Legia Warsaw. That's what Maresca said in the press conference. But
Hmm.
yet he doesn't trust him in the Premier League. So I think we need to give these guys a bit more trust, because look at Lewis Skelly at Arsenal. He's been playing a lot of games, and look how his games come on a lot, because he's been given the trust of the manager.
Yeah, I mean, Maresca has definitely made some bad calls, if not wrong calls. I think you're right. I really felt that that was a game, certainly against Ipswich, that he could. I couldn't see why. I could understand the Reece James situation because we know how delicate he is, but I couldn't see why the right back couldn't have been Josh. Even if it was a physicality thing, Josh has the physicality.
Yeah,
So I don't. It was a wrong call. There's just no more, no less. It was a wrong call, and he makes these odd calls here and there that aren't quite right, and they can be costly. Now, um, to be fair to him, we still could have won that game. There were so many chances that we should have put away,
oh yeah,
um,
yeah.
and that is an endemic thing that needs fixing now. It's not even a matter of, oh, let's wait and see. This has to be fixed now. Now we can't do this, and we've got to be taking shots from outside the box. When people pack their 18-yard box, the only reason people low block Chelsea is because we don't shoot.
And the other issue is that who we crossing the ball into?
Yeah.
The amount of crosses we did. We don't do any pullbacks or anything. We just crossing the ball into nobody. We've got nobody in the air, or no one who's like competent in the air. But we're just playing these crosses in, which is meat and drink for the centre backs, which I
Yeah.
don't understand.
That was very frustrating. When we did start shooting, we got a lot of joy, and actually an excellent goal by Sancho. And
Yeah.
another thing that has to stop, Max, that that really did piss me off, is we have a flipping set piece coach,
Oh,
but every
remember about
flipping
that.
set
I
piece
know. I
Do
know.
we?
involves the
Do we
Chelsea.
though? Do we? Do we?
I mean, it was crazy. And what really frustrated me the most was that we didn't have little defenders. Tosin isn't a midget.
Yeah.
Colwill,
Shadowbar's good in the air.
yeah. So what was all that about? I just
I
didn't get
know.
why we couldn't win aerial balls. I mean, that's just not acceptable. Not
And our
acceptable.
only inventive corner was the one we scored from when we didn't lump into the box. We played it short and then played it back to Sancho, who scored the goal.
Yeah.
That did come from a corner, didn't it? I think it was, yeah.
Well, did it? Okay, but it was in play following a corner. The first goal, and I don't know. There are too many issues in the team that isn't quite right. Is that Maresca's fault? I'm not so sure. I just think it's
But
frustrating.
the score's not balanced, though. We haven't got a
Yeah.
balanced squad, and that's the issue with the directors. I wrote, strangely enough, I actually wrote our season off after the January window
Hmm.
because I think from a position of strength, that's when we should have gone in and bought a couple of people to just push us over the line. Even that, if we
It was
look at
short
Aston Villa,
buys,
they
you
got
know.
Asenio. They bought two mid attacking players, not
Yeah.
one. I know that they got rid of one in Duran, but they bought in Rashford and Asenio. And Asenio could have played as our false nine or something like that. So there were players available, but we just didn't
Mhm.
explore any of them. So I just think that we should have, even if we bought I don't know, because I'm not a scout, as I said on yesterday's
Even
show.
on a short
E-
loan or something.
Yeah, even if we bought someone for 20 million or something, that could have got us what Champions League is worth, what, 70 million? If we buy someone for 20 or 30 million, then that's like a 40 million pound profit if that player was the player who can fire us into the Champions League.
No, we've got to do better, and we are capable of doing better. That's the problem. It's that, and you can see why. Fans get frustrated. They do and say the things that they do because right now we are very frustrating, and the only um thing we're hoping in hope itself. The only thing that I keep saying is that, look, the reason Liverpool are going to win the league this year is not so much that they were that good, is that everybody else was
Everyone else was
bad.
bought. Yeah, yeah, I
And
said as well.
everyone is being a bit
Yes,
inconsistent, and that may be what will take us over the line, the inconsistency of everyone else around us. Although
yeah.
suddenly both Newcastle and Man City have found some form, but they are very capable of tripping up in the
But
next game.
we'll see with Man City. I don't think they've found form. I just think, okay, they had a good game. Because even if you look at that Palace game, apparently, I didn't watch the game, but my friends are Palace supporters. They could have gone 3-0 up, apparently, but there was a
Oh, Palace, yeah.
marginal offside
Yeah.
in that game where they could have, if they scored that one, I think it was a toe offside or something, and that would have put them 3-0 up. And I don't see Man City coming back from that. So it's just like margins in the game. I think Everton will be a key game for them because Everton are going to frustrate them, and
I hope so.
I feel that game could be a difficult one for them. If they win at Everton, then I could say they are coming back into a bit of form, but I think they're still a bit hit or miss at the moment. So, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm banking on the Forest going, to be honest.
Ty, what do you think? Forest against
Yeah.
Spurs?
Uh,
Oh man.
oh man. Man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's really. I wouldn't bet on Spurs to be able to do anything. Sadly,
Hmm.
it's given how the season that they've had, if they do, it wouldn't surprise me. But I mean, right now they're in a worse situation than we are. So we talk about the whole the fans and the match going fans and what's going on. But I mean, it's even worse at Spurs for obvious reasons. Obviously, in terms of you know how the history of the club has gone and in terms of where they are currently in the table. But I mean, I don't know. It's a very complex thing, but I hope they'll follow the pattern that they've had. I think the hasn't the pattern been, what was it? They won a match, then they drew, then they lost. So maybe they maybe they can do the same again. I don't know.
Hmm.
At the business end of the season, though, that's when the nerves come settling because the Forest were flying. Their last
Yeah.
2 or 3 matches, they haven't really had. I think didn't they lose back to back against Aston Villa and at the weekend? So
Well, I wouldn't count them out just yet. You know, they're still
I'm not
quite.
counting them out, but I'm saying out of the 3, I believe that's the one. They're the ones who are probably gettable out of the 3. Newcastle, I just think, especially if Newcastle go 5 points ahead at this stage of the season, it's going to be difficult for us because that means we'll have to win at least. We've got what 5 games left? Is it 5?
6, I think.
6. We're going to have to win at least 5 of the 6, and I can't see that happening. Who we got left? We got Liverpool,
We got
Everton,
Fulham next.
Fulham,
Everton,
Man United,
Man
Liverpool.
United,
Man United as well.
and
Yeah.
Forest. So that's 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's not looking
Newcastle
good,
as
man.
well. Newcastle,
Oh
Forest.
yeah.
That's
Newcastle,
Yeah,
yeah.
6. Newcastle, Forest, and
Mm, that-
Fulham away. Man U, Liverpool, Everton at home, which is tough.
yeah.
As you said, Bobby, the only hope is that Liverpool would have won the league by that. They're on the beach, so if they
yeah.
win the league the week before they play us, they've gone out on the drinks the night before, and we've
So yeah.
faced them. You know, that's like remember that time we played West Bromwich Albion just after we won the league, and we got beat 3-0
Hmm.
under Jose. I'm just thinking of a situation like that maybe, but then there was a time. Remember that time we played Liverpool after they just won the league, and they beat us 4-3. Was it that mad game when Eden Hazard came on and scored 2 goals?
Mhm.
Well, this is the thing. Either they're going to be slack, or they will come with a swagger that would be a problem. So I don't know. I don't want to think that far ahead, to be honest. I think we've got to take it a game at a time because this has been a weird season, and we're talking of
So,
having a bit of a yo-yo thing. I think
mm,
any one of those clubs can drop points, any one of them at any time, including Liverpool. Funny enough, and they've all proved to do that. So
mm,
let's see. It ain't over till the fat lady sings.
Yeah.
For me, the only thing, obviously, as I said, the key game's Fulham, and the thing is, if we can get is it Everton after that? If we can win those games and then put pressure, because obviously with Forest playing in the FA Cup semi, if we can put pressure on them and go above Forest, then all of a sudden the games that look winnable, when they know that they've got a must-win game and it puts the pressure on them, that they become even more difficult. So that's why we need to put points on the board, get the pressure. As you know, with Bobby and Ty, when you've got pressure, it's a totally different ball game. Matches that you usually win, they become a lot more difficult.
Yeah. There he is. There he is. Oh my gosh. I was
Coach, he's
I
holding his
was
mouth, so he went to eat something or something. He was talking about having a cup of tea, and he went
oh,
off to have a sneaky cuppa. That's what he did.
uh, uh, it's good he came back because I was about to say that the lot is in the chat, so it's good he came back because I was about to say the chat is saying a lot of things.
Yeah.
We can't hear you. I think you're on mute. Oh, you're mute. Still can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me? Sorry, thank you,
Yeah, can hear
Max,
you
for
now.
saying that. Yeah, it was on mute. I had to mute it because my daughter is here, and when I was trying to fix the system, I wasn't sure if you guys could hear her screaming. Or so, I'm gonna try. I don't know if you guys were all on another topic. I wanted us to breeze through the news items we have. The Gyökeres news, for me, absolute nonsense. It just doesn't make sense. Saying that
PR.
we had a new direct contact with his entourage to confirm that we're still considering him. It just doesn't make sense. If I were the Sporting CP's hierarchy, I'd just focus on other clubs that are interested in signing him and not just considering him. It just sounds
That's
like,
PR. That's PR.
yeah, maybe absolute nonsense from just the news, the outlet there that's reporting that. It just doesn't make any sort of sense. I
Sometimes
don't
when
know.
you've got a lot
Okay,
of bad
what you
press,
said.
though.
Go ahead, Max.
I said
Sorry.
sometimes when you have a lot of bad press going on around the club, they'll put out a bit of PR
Mm.
news just to give the fans a bit of hope. So that's what I think that one is at the moment. I don't think there's nothing in it.
All right, I don't believe it either. What it says for me is absolute nonsense. I'm not going to be reading quite a lot. EPL Turf, I see you're there. I appreciate you joining this evening. We'll be streaming every day around the same hour, earlier than we started today. This talks about, at the moment, Chelsea are clearly in pole position for Jamie Gittens, thanks for their relationship with the players' representatives. Bayern Munich also took information, but Gittens was clear about his intentions to return to the Premier League. I don't know what's the Bournemouth guy, Semedo. But Semedo plays on the right or on the left.
You can play either.
But this is the same thing with Gittins. I'd say I'd rather Semedo than Gittins, but I'm not the one making the decisions. I don't know whether to believe this or not, but we've heard from Fabrizio Romano that we're interested in signing Jamie Bynoe. Is it Bynoe? Gittins? He looks good, the real deal, but it's not my opinion. Anybody on the panel want to talk about that, or should we move on?
Again, the German tax, isn't it?
Sorry?
Sanchez looked good in Germany. Werner, I don't know. And Cuckoo looked good in Germany. So I don't get excited about any transfers nowadays. I wait to see how they come and perform, because you may look good in one league, but are they gonna? Is that going to translate into the Premier League? Their form.
Yeah.
Somebody did say that he started off at Chelsea before going to Manchester City. So I'm not sure how true that is, but he was
Yeah, and
apparently.
you just mentioned a good point right there. I get it. Every signing carries some measure of risk, but we've not been lucky with players we signed from Germany.
Hmm.
Let's go back to the former German international with that excellent assist from Cesc Fabregas. That Mourinho described as ice cold in front of goal. The line
Schürrle.
Schola.
Schürrle.
Okay, I remember Schola. I remember the German Messi also. Kai Havertz,
Marin.
I get it, the Champions League goal and his performance in the Europe for us. Even Timo Werner didn't really do well. Now you mentioned Christopher Nkunku. So yeah, maybe we shouldn't be signing players based on their performance in the German league, maybe. But I'm not sure what else to think about interest in Jamie Gittens. I'd rather Semenyo, but I'm hearing that the asking price is a bit too much.
I thought you had the release clause, didn't they? No.
I've forgotten, but the last time I heard anything about the release clause, so I think probably people were saying that the asking price is, so I think something in the region of 16 million pounds or so. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think with Premier League, with his experience in the Premier League and how well he's done, I wouldn't mind Semenyo over Jamie Gittens. But I don't work for the club's scouting department. Anybody want to add to that, or should we move to the next item we have lined up?
But again, that's the thing. Again, he's Bournemouth. What is he like against low blocks and things like that? That's what we've got to look at when we're signing players, because Bournemouth, they don't face teams with 10 men behind the ball all the time. Is he going to be as effective for us in that situation?
Yeah.
And that's
And that brings to mind the case of Timo Werner. He was brilliant in Germany, but a lot of people and the scouts didn't realize that Timo does well when there are spaces for him to exploit. Without the spaces, he hardly ever beats his man one-on-one, or you could say practically useless when the spaces are tight.
Gittens is a little bit more because he can go either way. He can go left or right with Gittens. He's good dribbler in tight spaces as well. So maybe
that's why the focus is on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point there, Max. Thank you for joining. One more thing. I think we have one more thing here. This says Chelsea are confident that in-demand Ipswich Town talent Liam Delap will want to join the Blues over Premier League rivals Manchester United this summer, with Enzo Maresca keen to lure the 22-year-old to Stamford Bridge. I've said I'd rather we sign Delap over the RB Leipzig kid, Benjamin Sesko. Why? Both are, you can say it'd be right to describe both as up and coming, but Delap does have Premier League experience. I think he's more suited to the Premier League given the way he applies himself on the pitch. He can be physical. Also, he's a very strong player and can only get stronger than Sesko. For me, Sesko carries more risk than Delap. Master, your thoughts, or anybody else on the panel who wants to speak on that?
I said it'll be typical of Manchester United to win the Champions League and then he'll go there instead, play Champions League football.
But do you like him? Do you like Delap?
From what I've seen, he looks like a good player. He's strong, physical. He's skillful as well as his goal scoring record at Ipswich is good. Bearing in mind he's playing for a team near the bottom. I haven't seen a lot of him in the air though.
I haven't. I don't even. His overall ball playing ability is where I have questions, but maybe I don't know him.
Ball striking's good, but in the air, I don't know. He's a good box striker. What I like about him is that he's nasty. He reminds me a bit like Diego Costa. He makes life difficult for defenders. He's barging, pushing, hustling. We haven't got that in our side at the moment. He gives us a different dimension. And he's worked with Maresca as well. So
yeah, in the Man City Academy, right?
Yeah, but the only thing is he's still quite young as well. That's the only thing. I want a bit of experience. I'd like somebody like Osimhen, to be honest, especially with the crosses that we put in the air. So someone who's.
But I'll tell you, Osimhen. Go ahead. Osimhen isn't coming, really.
I know he's not, but that's what I prefer to the style of football we play. Getting on the end of these crosses, but
yeah, if we're gonna spam in the box with crosses, we need a point man like Osimhen. Yeah, I don't know anything else. I don't think there's anything else here. This one here talks about Strasbourg winger Delane Bakwa could be heading to the Premier League this summer, and it might be to their Blue Coat sister club Chelsea. I don't know him, I've watched
Good player.
Strasbourg, but
Very
maybe
good
I haven't
player.
paid attention properly. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's a very good player. He's one of the better players. Him and our boy Santos have been the two standouts for them this season. Yeah.
Would you rather him over Gittens? Are they not the same?
France League is more aligned to the Premier League, I'd say, with the physicality side of things. So then the German league, you're afforded a lot of space. So yeah, maybe Gittins. I don't know. But Gittins has always he's played in England before, hasn't he? So he's used to
This
the
where
environment.
you can say early days, and that didn't stay long, right?
Yeah, so he doesn't have to settle a lot because he's English anyway. So it's a difficult one. Yeah.
Well,
Maybe
let's
back.
see.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. Anybody else has anything else they want to talk about? Max, thank you so much for finding the time to join us.
Ty's
Bobby.
meant to be the thing anyway. Ty, he's the scout man.
Oh yeah, that's his area analysis, a thorough analysis of players we want to sign, and he's pretty good at it. He's pretty good at
Ty,
it.
he's still around. Is he still around?
Yeah, probably maybe have dozed off because it's very late for him. Just like the same thing as you too, also.
Ty's in Jamaica. It's not late for him.
It's not late for him, really. Okay.
In Jamaica, it's same as America time.
So it should be. I think when I was in Las
be
Vegas,
exactly
we
the same
shared the
time
same
as you.
time. We shared the same time zone when we still lived in
It's
Vegas.
7 o'clock in Jamaica at the moment. Yeah,
Right.
7 o'clock in Jamaica.
Okay, but it looks like probably he's busy doing something else. Bobby, anything else you want to talk about?
No, I thought you'd give the chat a voice because we were having a discussion and we can't manipulate the chat as you can.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, let's give them a voice. There's only two issues: poor defense and poor striker. And I agree that match against Ipswich Town did highlight areas that we need to prioritize in the summer transfer window. We need a number 9. We need experience. You could argue we need a 10. We do need a 10. Kopama is the only guy that I know that played in that position and fulfilled the role effectively. But when we play with 2 10s, Enzo Fernandez has done well, but traditionally he's not a 10. He's a deep line playmaker and will be better utilized if it's deployed in a deep position where he can see the pitch better. Because the more he sees the pitch, the more effective it'd be. Nice to see you, EPL Tough. You've said quite a lot, but I have to run to go take care of my daughter. Good night to you too, Choma, the Queen of the House. I appreciate you, and to all of you that found the time to participate in today's conversation. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, Choma. Thank you, EPL Tough. Thank you. Who else was here? Vic was also here, fighting me, Bobby, and everyone else. Ty was in the chat also, and congratulations to those that got the membership, paid membership that I gave away. 10. It's usually chosen at random. I don't have the right to who gets it. AB, thank you for joining. Kishan Rabba Taha, one of the names I like the most here. And if I miss your name, apologies. I'm only human. Jabulani Zamalo, of course, and Max, thank you for joining us on the panel here. Bobby, the legendary Bobby, our senior panelist here. And Ty, I appreciate you all. If I miss your name, apologies. I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and cheers.
Bye-bye.
Hey, go wake up, baby. It's a Chelsea day. So blue, baby, that's chipping pain. Talking dreams while the sky stays bright. Rest your head, but not the night. Every moment, every goal we see. In our hearts, it's Chelsea, me and you, we can agree. Oh, take me out of stand. With you, privilege, you talk. When to tap our take and do. Oh, Chelsea, we stand tall. We stand tall. Everywhere we give our all. Everywhere, yeah. Forever we're true. It's a blue morning show where the vibes are flowing, so fresh, so low. Everything's about Chelsea, feel like pride. We're repping our team, standing side by side. Win or lose, we carry that blue. Cause Chelsea, see Chelsea, it's all true. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer. Hey, go wake up, baby, it's a Chelsea day. So blue, baby, let's cheer and play. Talking dreams while the sky stays bright. Rest your head, but not the night. Every moment, every goal we see. In our hearts it's Chelsea, me and you, we can dream. Oh, take me out of stand. With you, privilege, you talk. When to tap, I take it you. Oh, Chelsea, we stand tall. We stand tall. Everywhere we give our all. Everywhere, yeah. Forever we're true. We must be. Together we rise, just me and you. In nights that you will go home. 3 hours away, so near to my home. Delap, so live in river. Whoa, whoa. In the blue, our spirits fly. With every cheer, we touch the sky. In this love, we find our way. Chelsea forever, day by day. Oh, Chelsea, Chelsea stands on. Cover up with the hand. We give our all. Chelsea, forever we're true. Together we rise, just me and you. Hey, go wake up, baby, it's a Chelsea day. So blue, baby, let's cheer and play. Talking dreams while the sky stays bright. Rest your head, but not the night. Every moment, every goal we see. In our hearts it's Chelsea, me and you, we can dream. Oh, take me out of stand. With you, privilege, you talk. When to tap, I take it you. Oh, Chelsea, we stand tall. We stand tall. Everywhere we give our all. Everywhere, yeah. Forever we're true. We must be. Together we rise, just me and you. In nights that you will go home. 3 hours away, so near to my home. Delap, so live in river. Whoa, whoa. In the blue, our spirits fly. With every cheer, we touch the sky. In this love, we find our way. Chelsea forever, day by day. Oh, Chelsea, Chelsea stands on. Cover up with the hand. We give our all. Chelsea, forever we're true. Together we rise, just me and you. Hey, go wake up, baby, it's a Chelsea day. So blue, baby, that's chipping pain. Talking dreams while the sky stays bright. Rest your head, but not the night. Every morning, every go we see. In our hearts, it's Chelsea, me and you, we can dream. Oh, take me out of stand. With you, river, you talk. When to tap, I take it you. Oh, Chelsea, we stand tall. We stand tall. Everywhere we give our all. Everywhere, yeah. Forever but true. Together we rise, just me and you. In nights that you will go on. 3 hours so near to my own. It will look so deep in river. Whoa, whoa. In the blue, our spirits fly. With every cheer, we touch the sky. In this love, we find our way. Chelsea forever, day by day. Whoa, Chelsea, Chelsea stands on. Cover up with the hand. We give our all. Chelsea, forever but true. Together we rise, just me and you. Hey, go wake up, baby, it's a Chelsea day. So blue, baby, that's chipping pain. Talking dreams while the sky stays bright. Rest your head, but not the night. Every morning, every go we see. In our hearts, it's Chelsea, me and you, we can dream. Oh, take me out of stand. With you, river, you talk. When to tap, I take it you. Oh, Chelsea, we stand tall. We stand tall. Everywhere we give our all. Everywhere, yeah. Forever but true. Together we rise, just me and you. In nights that you will go on. 3 hours so near to my own. It will look so deep in river. Whoa, whoa. In the blue, our spirits fly. With every cheer, we touch the sky. In this love, we find our way. Chelsea forever, day by day. Whoa, Chelsea, Chelsea stands on. Cover up with the hand. We give our all. Chelsea, forever but true. Together we rise, just me and you. Hey, go wake up, baby, it's a Chelsea day. So blue, baby, that's chipping pain. Talking dreams while the sky stays bright. Rest your head, but not the night. Every morning, every go we see. In our hearts, it's Chelsea, me and you, we can dream. Oh, take me out of stand. With you, river, you talk. When to tap, I take it you. Oh, Chelsea, we stand tall. We stand tall. Everywhere always so neat on my own. It will look so deep in river. Whoa, whoa. In the blue, our spirits fly. With every cheer, we touch the sky. In this love, we find our way. Chelsea forever, day by day. Whoa, Chelsea, Chelsea stands on. Cover up with the hand. We give our all. Chelsea, forever but true. Together we rise, just me and you. Hey, go wake up, baby. It's a Chelsea day. So blue, baby, let's chip and play. Talking dreams while the sky stays bright. Rest your head, but not the night. Every morning, every go we see. In our hearts, it's Chelsea, me and you, we can dream.